Now, it's the Open Mic Talk Show.
It's the Open Mic Talk Show, live on CRN.FM. And now, here's your
Hey family, what's happening? Beautiful day in the neighborhood. You're just in time for another edition of the Open Mic Talk Show. Super Soul Sister. She's Cara Black. Right on. And the inventor. The man who put this all in motion. He is the Darnell Swift.
Hey, thank you, Carl. You make me sound like George Washington Carver, the inventor.
Well, that's good, man. I hope you don't suffer the same fate as George Washington Carver. Do you realize I didn't realize that George Washington Carver was castrated. I didn't know that.
Oh, really? I didn't know that either.
Yes. So, if you ever heard his speeches or him talking, he speaks in a very high-pitched voice, and it is because of that. Darnell, why are you laughing? That is absolutely not funny. I mean, I feel a pain in my tummy right now as I discuss this with you guys. I'm telling you, this is unbearable. And you sniggling. Listen, George Washington Carver was castrated by his, I wouldn't say his owner. He didn't want him to try to have relations with his daughter, and he castrated him, and he spoke with a really high-pitched voice for the rest of his life.
But anyway.
No, sit, Cara, please help. Cara, Cara, I need some help with this dude, man.
I don't know what to do. We are both fledgling over here. We just got
to work it out. Bless him, y'all. The views expressed on the Open Mic Talk Show are those of the hosts and themselves alone. We do not reflect that of Cara, Carle, and the rest of us. Darnell could be crazy all by himself, ladies and gentlemen. All by himself. No, man, I learned that actually, guys, last week. Yeah, man, I was pretty shocked by that, to say the least. So we got a big show. We're going to talk about some Olympic activity. The Olympics have kicked off over the weekend. Project 2025. You're not slick. You can't change the name to something 47, Agenda 47, or whatever you're trying to do. We're not gonna fall for it. We got you in the crosshairs, buddy. Also,
we're not gonna fall for the banana tailpipe.
We're not gonna fall for it. Nope, we're sure not. SCOTUS, guys. I think SCOTUS had some trickery planned ahead. I believe they have some things up their sleeve, as alluded to by the president of the Heritage Foundation last week. And Beyonce, Taylor Swift are collaborating to put Kamala Harris in office. So, with that being said, this is the Open Mic Talk Show. Let's jump right into it, family.
Oh, the Olympics, the opening ceremony?
Okay, yes.
That was bomb. Except for, the commentators. The American commentators were, way louder than the music.
Really?
And that was, really bothering.
Okay.
But the performances, and it was so artful, and because, it is Paris.
Well, there was some conversation regarding the opening ceremonies and how they were depicting the Last Supper and all this stuff, man. It got really, really heavy. And I saw various posts on social media that were adding some clarification to that and said that's not what that was at all. Things happen, but that would be very, very surprising to think that the Olympic Committee would somehow, be mocking Christianity or whatever the people who were up in arms about said that they were doing. It just, I didn't think they would do that.
No, it was all about French history. The whole thing
Right.
was about French history and art, and it was a beautiful presentation, I thought, of everything. And then the light show at the end when they passed the torch and they lit up the Eiffel Tower was spectacular. I was like, who is doing this light show? It was like crazy.
Wow.
But
I didn't see all of that.
Yeah, it was all. It was a long. The ceremony was really long, and it was pouring down rain. Those poor people, but they stuck it through, and it was beautiful. I thought it was beautiful. It's given the United States something to try to compare to.
Well, one of the things I found interesting about the opening ceremonies was the fact that they were, it was non-traditional. Typically they're in the Olympic Stadium when they do the opening ceremony. This time they were floating down the river, and I was like, that looked like somebody could do something. I don't know. It was an odd sight because I don't believe it's ever been done before. I don't think it ever been done before. So it was sort of, it was an odd look. Also, all the MAGAs are up in arms because one LBJ was leading the charge with the American flag, and I thought he was anti-American. I thought he didn't like America. Man, that dude is one of the greatest Americans in the history of this country. How dare you? How dare you talk about the king? That's right. We don't want it. Cut it out right now.
Yeah.
So,
haters.
That's right. Darnell, have you got an opportunity to check out some of the Olympics so far, my good sir?
I didn't get an opportunity to see the opening ceremonies. That's why I was just kind of listening to y'all's take on that. I watched some of the swimming and some of the gymnastics, I guess, later on Friday evening when I got home, which was pretty exciting. You were just telling me earlier that the men's basketball team had played one of the qualifying rounds earlier, and they waxed Serbia.
They did.
But, yeah, I mean, I watched some swimming. I really like, the track and field, the gymnastics, and the basketball in the Summer Olympics. So I'll be tuning in soon. I've been really, really immersed in this last week of political theater that we've been watching. It's kind of captured my attention. I was reading on Twitter just now. I like to go to what's trending. You know what I'm saying? And two things I saw that are trending. Face the Nation, they had Lindsey Graham on there. And, of course, Lindsey Graham, he swallows. But the other thing that I found, and I thought about this when I saw it because I did see it live. Sununu, who is the governor, is it New Hampshire, I believe?
That or Rhode Island, one of the two.
Yeah, one of the New England states. But anyway, he was on one of the, I don't know if it was the This Week with George Stephanopoulos or Face the Nation. It was one of them. But anyway, they played the clip of Donald Trump with some of the stupid crap that he's been saying over the last couple of days, right? And he came back and he said, "Oh, that's classic Trump." He was calling
Trumpism. It's Trumpism.
Right, yeah, classic Trumpism. And I'm like, and it's trending right now, and it's talking about, anytime Trump says something stupid, vile, racist, they'll quote it to, "Oh, that's just Trump being Trump." Well, Trump being Trump is basically Trump being a racist.
Racist, yeah.
It's like, okay, well, we're cool with it because it's just Trump being Trump. And I'm just wondering, at what point, and I think we kind of reached that inflection point to where we're seeing this momentum that Kamala has grabbed. And I think people are just about to tell them we're done with this. That's what I think's happening.
Oh, for sure. You even have like white bros for Kamala getting on the Zoom call.
Yeah, she broke the internet last week.
Yeah, Zoom broke it on that 200,000 white women call. But you know what's interesting? And this happened yesterday. You guys know that the Villages in Florida is about as a Republican area as you possibly could ever have. I mean, it's ruby red. It's just like Oklahoma. There was like 500 females who were all in these golf carts yesterday rallying for Kamala Harris.
Sure.
There is a shift and a tide that I don't think the Republicans know what to do. I just don't think they know how to address it.
Also,
it's out of their control at this point.
Also, on that phone call with over 200,000 white women, they were, from what I understand, they were giving each other the business, saying that they need to step up, accept their responsibility, be accountable, and quit depending on sisters to carry the mantle for women in this country.
Yes.
Stuff like that, I've never heard of anything like that in a campaign, in any sort of phone call. That was heavy as a Chevy. That was quite a bit of information that I just wasn't really ready for. I wasn't ready for that one. That surprised me.
Well, the history of black women in politics is that we do all the work, but we get none of the glory.
Sure.
We're qualified to go out there and make all of these moves, get the donors, get people registered to vote, but they never want to see us on the ticket. We can do all that, but you can't really lead. But aren't we leading anyway? We've been leading.
Well said.
So I mean,
well said.
It's history in the making. History in the making is happening right now, and women are coming together as we should have. There's nothing difference between our skins. We're all women. We all have the same biological set. I mean, so it affects us all. So we need to come together, and we are the greatest influence ever. We can influence our male counterparts. In a certain way that, they can't really influence us. So I think it's time that we use our woman wild, mentally and physically, if you have to get this ball running it. I mean, it's already started rolling, but just push it on through.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's what you get on this show. You get deep, deep insight. Also, we create new words. Herstory. That's what it is. Come on, give it up one time, ladies and gentlemen. Come on now.
Herstory.
Hello.
Herstory. Yeah, I like that.
Herstory.
I like
That's right.
Herstory.
I'm making t-shirts as we speak.
Right.
That's right. You need to go ahead and get that patent right now.
One of my favorite movies from the 80s is A Soldier Story. You guys have probably seen it. And there's a scene in the movie, Sergeant Waters is this hardcore, drill sergeant who comes down
Caesar.
really hard.
Oh yeah.
Right. And there's a scene in the movie where he's talking to CJ. CJ was that Southern big guy who kind of, shuck and jive a little bit. He played the guitar and his thing.
Oh, Green Mile type fella. Green Mile type fella, wasn't he? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Sergeant Waters didn't like him because he thought that he represented something that black people needed to get away from. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a scene in the movie where he's basically chastising and belittling CJ. And he says, boy, the day of the Geechee is dead. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, the day of the white Republican dominance is dead. It's over. I believe that this is a change that's going to be fundamentally a marker for this country as we move away from that. I mean, when you watch Donald Trump and you watch these Republicans and you watch Fox News, you keep hearing basically the same thing. I'm pissed off at everything. Nothing is good. We don't like this. We don't like the America that we see. Well, the America that they don't like, that's us.
Absolutely.
When they say, when they talk about who would be against DEI? And I think, someone has mentioned, hey, stop saying DEI. Call it what it is, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Why would you be against that? Why would you be against that? Why would you be against equity? Why would you be against inclusion? Why would you be against diversity? The only reason you would be against it is because it doesn't represent the white dominant thought process in this country. And Kamala represents not DEI, but she represents it's the new wave. I think it's a wrap. I really, really do.
Yeah, for people to speak about this woman in terms of not being well read, being lazy and all these narratives. It's pretty shocking. So you mean to tell me this woman was a prosecutor in San Francisco? She was California State Attorney General, California State Senator, and Vice President of the United States, and she can't read, talk, or express herself convincingly. Get the hell out of here. Please stop it. Cut it
Right.
out right now. Stop it.
Yeah.
That's enough. I mean, come on, man. Come on.
Well, you
Darnell,
guys know-
we should call it white. It's white male. It's white
Yes,
male.
there you go, sis. It is incredible to me that at my age that I have watched this stuff year after year after year after decade after year. That any time that we're accomplished, the first thing that some white men want to say is because you're black. You got this because you're black.
Yeah, it's
No, I didn't get it because
the way
I'm
the
black.
way they dismiss your accomplishment so cavalierly is astounding. You can be an expert at something, the Dunning-Kruger effect. You could be an expert at something, studied something for 30 years, have all kind of certifications, educational background, and they'll just dismiss it. Oh, he don't know what he's talking about. That's just some racist DEI stuff. I mean, what? It's just the minimalization of our achievements. And what we do collectively is amazing, being brought forth by folks who are average and mediocre at best.
Exactly.
We don't get in unless we're better. I mean, literally, especially in the field that we have worked in for years in broadcasting. I can remember, guys, when in the late 70s and early 80s, you could not get a job in radio in Oklahoma if you were black. I can literally remember there were three of us: Ron Williams, a guy named, I forgot Travis's last name, he worked at KOMA, and myself worked at what at that time was called KOTE K-Light. Three blacks out of all the white stations in all of Oklahoma. It just did not happen. And you think that we weren't able to do it? Of course we were able to do it, but they would not open the door for us to do it.
I remember coming from a corporate cluster. I was working at, it's Cumulus now, it was Citadel at the time. And I went back to Perry Publishing and Broadcasting because I'd worked for them prior when I was in Tulsa. And I remember having some conversations with some people there, and they were in disbelief. Well, not in disbelief, but, man, you got to really be good to get on over there and such and such. And, basically, why do you want to come here? It was some interesting conversation, to say the least. It was some interesting conversation. I remember it wasn't very many brothers doing this thing. Of course, back in the day, Ben Tipton, my dad, Joyce Jackson, Ron Williams, like you talked about. It wasn't very, very many at all in this business putting it down. I know my dad was a weekday reporter. He was a weekend anchor, and he had a show on WKY Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock.
9:30 a.m.
Do you guys know that Bob Berry Sr. and Jr. and me and my dad are the only father and son teams to ever be on WKY?
Really? Wow.
Absolutely. So,
It's just interesting, and it permeates. I mean, broadcasting obviously being something that people can actually tangibly see, right? But that same scenario was throughout corporate America. Just imagine if you had gone to college and become an accountant and walked into a bank to try to get a officer's job or whatever the case may have been.
sure.
Back when our parents were born, and if you were a doctor, they wouldn't necessarily let you practice at the hospital. Just on and on and on, and it's just time for that. I don't know what the word is for that.
Racial hierarchy.
But yeah, it's just time for it to end. And I really believe that Kamala is not. And I'm gonna go back to what Carle was saying. This I think isn't about. I think the glass ceiling for blacks has been broken when Obama got in. I think now the trash talking with the other side is all about her being a woman.
Okay, but hold on.
Yes.
It's about a woman, but guys, we cannot have this conversation about Kamala Harris without talking about the misinformation regarding her, who she is, what she represents, and if she is black or not. And you know, I used to be in love with politics. I loved politics. I took a nice hiatus from politics because I just don't believe in it. But in this particular case, I'm going to bring myself back to politics because under no circumstance can we allow one Donald J. Trump to enter the White House again. We cannot do it. We can't afford it as a country. We can't do it. We can't have this happen. We have got to stop this guy. So I want to do all I can, along with the help of you, great brothers and sisters, to stop this, do what we can. You know, family, we were talking about doing a show at a library coming soon. We are going to put that into action this week. You're going to see your good friends in the Open Mic Talk Show back out and on the road just like you used to. You remember us because we are the people, you know, the music you love. Real radio is back, baby. That's right. We are the Open Mic Talk Show. Sister from another mister. She's Cara Black, Darnell Swift. I'm Carl L. King II. Let's transition very shortly to Project 2025. But again, guys, I want to get your perspective about black folks saying not to vote for her for a plethora of wide variety of reasons.
Maybe because she's the most extreme radical liberal president in American history if she's elected.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's crazy with that. You know, just to touch on a point, you know, on social media, I've been seeing a lot of people posting, I am not with her. I was like, what is that about? I was like, but thank you for showing me who you are.
Oh, man.
And, you know, what you believe in. So, yeah, that part.
Darnell, people are up in arms about she's not black enough, she's this, she's only black when it's convenient. These certain people are saying that you should look at independents. Now, first of all, independents, you're literally throwing your vote away. It won't count.
Oh, my God.
And if I'm not mistaken, I'd like to be enlightened by the independents who are black and have a platform for black people. Am I missing something? Is there some presidential candidate out there that has a platform for black people? Am I missing it, or is something? I don't.
No, I think you're spot on. This is something that just drives me insane. Okay, and it didn't used to bother me as much as it does now. But one of the things is when I see a group of quote analysts, commentators, pundits, whatever you want to call them, that are white discussing blackness? Really? I mean, how are you going to define for me what is black? Okay? You can't tell me as a white person what blackness is. You have no reference point. You're not black. You haven't lived in my skin. You have not walked through a department store and been eyeballed. Okay?
Well, you shouldn't have been in there stealing, Darnell. You shouldn't have been stealing, Darnell.
Right. You know, you have not walked up to a counter when 5 people were there, and I was the second one there, and you look at the third person and tell them, hey, may I help you? So the idea that someone, I can't tell an Asian person how Asian they are. It's just absurd. If we look historically at it, if you had a fifth of black blood in you, then you were considered to be black.
Right.
This is true.
And
sure.
now, you want to come back and try to tell us how to define what black is? That's absurd and ludicrous. if she says she's black, she's black. Her father was black.
Well, he was Jamaican, and of course, there's another breakdown.
But that's black.
Well, but there's a big thing. There's a war going on. I don't know if you guys have been keeping up on social media regarding the Adios people, the Black American, the FIBA people, and your the whole Black and African back and forth, if you will. It's man. It's a lot going on, and of course, this is happening within our own family, if you will. Because even though, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, sis. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, even though it's happening in our own family, and even though they're African people, we come from them, they come from us. However you want to look at it, but there's no black platform, and you can't run for the president of the United States on a black platform. Now, I will say this. I will say this. We do not ever have anything that we put forth really for them to gain our vote. I remember when Bill Clinton was running, he went on Arsenio Hall, played a saxophone. That's all it took. He was the first black president. That's all it took. That was it. We've got to do better as far as getting some sort of agenda, getting some things accomplished for our community as well. That's fair. But to say you can run for the president of the United States with a black agenda and only for black people, that's just not going to happen.
No, that's the whole thing that happened with Barack Obama. They tried to hold him to, he's not doing enough for black people. It's but I represent the United States. That's every person in the United States.
Well, I kind of agree with that, but okay.
Well, we have to get to a point where we have to realize we are all the same. We're all human beings, each and every one of us. It's that we are slightly melanated in different ways, but we're all human beings. If I need a blood transfer, it doesn't matter if it's a black man, a white man, Puerto Rican, Chinese, Mandarin. If their blood type is the same as mine, they're going to give me that blood.
Plug me in, huh?
Absolutely.
Sis,
Yeah,
I don't think that, just my issue with Barack or whatever, we've talked about this before. I just wish he would have taken his political mandate and do what he was instructed to do by the American people, instead of reaching across the aisle and let Mitch McConnell and the crew slam his fingers in the car door.
Glitch, Mitch.
Yeah, so
I think that at that time, again, his initial election was 16 years ago. Mm-hmm. I do believe in retrospect that he could have possibly been a little bit more progressive in those first 2 years when he had, the House, the Senate, and of course his administration. Also, though, the backlash to Barack Obama is why we ended up with Donald Trump. There is a section of this country that is still fighting the old Civil War mentality, mm-hmm. and if it had not been for that backlash, that sentiment, we would never have seen a Donald Trump. Think about it for a minute. Donald Trump had to be the most unqualified, least gifted person in my lifetime, certainly, to ever ascend to the presidency of the United States. And his whole political campaign was ignited by him claiming that Barack Obama was illegitimate. So those people latched onto that. They still hold on to that sentiment. It is all about white grievance, and we've been afraid to say it. But this has to come to an end, because America is not just a white Christian fundamentalist nation. We are a melting pot. Like Cara was saying, we are made up of all sorts of people, all sorts of melanation, and this It's got to be the pivot. We've just got.
But they don't want. But there's the rub, though, guys. They don't want that anymore. These are the people who are saying freedom and democracy aren't compatible anymore. They don't want the American dream or the one that they had promised to each of us. They don't want that anymore.
That's right.
They don't want it. Once we start participating in the process in large numbers and affecting the outcome of things happening in this country, we're no longer compatible. Freedom is a done deal. Freedom and democracy, according to some, are not compatible in this country. They don't go together. They don't fit anymore. Imagine that.
Yeah, Donald Trump just told at a Christian rally, the Turning Point action that, hey, you good Christians, you won't have to vote anymore if I'm elected.
That's right.
We'll take care of that.
Yeah, that's what Darnell was alluding to earlier. That's what he was talking about earlier, sis. This gets crazy. But the minimalization of those comments, if Joe Biden or Kamala Harris had said those comments, Kamala, I apologize. Yes, ma'am. I don't want to. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Please forgive me. If either one of those people would have made those comments, it would have been on every news outlet in the country. Why are they normalizing this guy? I mean, to a fault. What I don't understand is the media. He's going to have state-run media. You're not going to have freedom of the press anymore. You're going to have to, if he gets put in office again, you're going to have to put out what he says you can put out. Period.
Right.
It is amazing to watch and listen to this buffoon talk about how, when he talks about dictators like Xi or Putin or Kim Jong-un, how he talks about, well, they run their country with an iron fist. They're very, very this. They're very, very that.
They're strong men.
Idiot. Right. What kind of idiot listens to someone like that and then thinks that would be good for this country? And Carl, I think you alluded to this the last time we were broadcasting as to they don't give a. Donald Trump wouldn't go to a barbecue. He wouldn't go to anything with these people that support him, which is the white working class. He doesn't care about them. He doesn't relate to them. But it's cultish. I mean, he speaks a language, a crazy language that they all believe. I mean, it's amazing to me to watch. It just really is. I can't quantify it.
No, when you see them interviewing his MAGA followers and they ask him, why do you believe what you believe? They were like, because he's strong and, he's a great leader and he talks a good game, Right. They look at him like, oh, he's more cognitive than President Biden. But I'm like, no, he's not really. I don't know what you guys are listening to, but they've drank the Kool-Aid, and no matter what you say to them, they will not change their minds. They've made it up in their whole body, their whole spirit that this is their guy. He's going to take them to freedom. Make America great again. Make America white again. I mean, but it's never been really white. I mean, it has. But there were brown people here before they even got here, so you know what I'm saying.
It's amazing. It's just amazing to me.
Yeah, but kudos to Kamala Harris for finally being endorsed by the Obamas this week. That happened. And so that's, I think they were kind of waiting until everybody else in the party kind of got on board before they came out and gave her their endorsement. And I think that was smart of them to wait.
I would agree, because right at the time when it went down, you were starting to hear, well, why haven't the Obamas endorsed her, and maybe they have a problem with her, and it's always this negative, let me find the negative to try to make a story instead of doing the background research to make sure that the information is accurate. Hello?
Hello? Like, what just happened?
Did we, yeah, I mean, it's just silence. I mean, is everyone still here?
Right. Yeah. I don't know. It sounds like just me and you.
I think we lost Carl.
Oh, okay. I think so.
It sounds like we have anyway.
I don't know. Maybe you put us on mute. We were talking about the independents earlier. So Robert F. Kennedy is their choice. And yeah, I don't know if that's like a great way to go to throw your vote away. I mean, he's a Kennedy.
Yeah, that would be a waste.
But
I'm pretty sure we've lost him, which means we've
so.
lost.
We're
not
lost
on the air
everything.
anymore.
Yeah.
All right, let me try to recall. Okay.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. Let's see that number right there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he's responded to me. We're still on the air. Sorry about that, everyone that's listening. This is the open mic. We were not sure what actually happened. We had a little bit of a technical difficulty.
No, everything's good. No, everything's great.
We're not in the room where it happens. Now you know.
Secrets revealed, right?
Oh,
Secrets revealed. Man, we had him fooled for a minute, but I think Carl has rejoined us.
Absolutely, yeah, I was here, man. I'm here the whole time. I just was, doing what I do. Just, when you guys are hearing this show, it's a lot going on in the background. It's a lot of stuff going on. A lot of programs opening up, and a lot of different things we're doing simultaneously. So. Of course, things happen, and of course, I'm producing the show, and I'm also one of the co-hosts. That's very, very difficult for those who don't know and who are not in this business. Producing a show while co-hosting is very, very difficult because you're trying to have a conversation with your co-host, but you're also looking at all the technical aspects of the show and keeping your eye on stuff, and it's difficult, but we will continue on the menu and push right on through. This is the strength, knowledge, and power of the biggest, baddest name in talk. We are the Open Mic Talk Show. Cara Black, Darnell Swift. I'm Carl L. King II. And guys, Project 2025. It's been on the lips of everyone in this country. So much so, Donald Trump and his crew have changed the name to Agenda 47.
Yeah, he's been claiming that that's always been his platform, but we all know that he's part of this, because there's over 100 people that have been part of this that were in his administration or related to his campaign. So there's no separation of the two. They're all one and the same family, same group.
Sure. The people who put together the architects of Project 2025, the majority of the people are former Trump officials.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of Project 2025, as you guys know, the political game is an ebb and flow, up and down. You think you got some things going on, and you think you're being victorious, and then the other side gets up, and things happen for them. It's a back and forth. So, you guys know that the president, the leader, the CEO, whoever he is, of the Heritage Foundation, spoke recently and said, "We're in the middle of the Second American Revolution, and it will remain bloodless if the left allows it to be."
Right.
This same man said last week, "Don't be in despair. We're winning. We're winning in ways that people don't even know about. And we're not going to share it with everybody." That gave me great pause and led me to this statement. We're getting excited. The people are doing the work. Kamala Harris has a small army of volunteers, about 150,000 now. All that work is going to be done, and the Supreme Court is going to do what they do and throw some trickery in the game and give this thing to Donald Trump. I believe it. I'm sorry, but I believe that. They'll try. Now, of course, we have the power. Will we allow that? Is America at a turning point where we will allow people who didn't win the elections to be put in office, to be installed, if you will? George Bush, Donald Trump, a lot of people. Will it continue to happen? Will it continue to happen? Will we allow that as a country?
I don't think we will. I think people are at the point where enough is enough, that we are not going to let you dictate us, literally, you know. I don't think it's going to happen.
I would agree. I would agree. I think that people have just had enough. We've just watched this over and over again. Again, I use that analogy about a soldier story about the day of the Geechee is dead. I think we have just moved into a place where America and the rest of us, we've just had enough. I mean, we're not going to continue to be dominated by old white men. We're going to see this is a fundamental shift, I think, in the American culture, and we'll see. Now, Carl, you could very well be right. I mean, there's a lot of trickeration that's going to be out there. It's not like it's going to be easy.
No, man.
It's not like it's going to be easy.
Well, guys, don't forget. Biden said that in his last months of the presidency, he was going to work on SCOTUS reform. I hope he does some executive act. Okay, let me ask you this. Can he do something with the executive pen with this?
I've been wondering.
Sure,
I don't know.
Yeah.
What? Yes, sis, he can? You think so?
I think he can.
Huh.
I think he
I
can.
think there's something called a recess appointment, maybe, to the Supreme Court.
Okay. You're talking about while Congress is not in office, on vacation or something? Is that what you're talking about? Okay.
I think so. I'm trying to look it up right now, so give me just a moment to see,
sure.
Okay?
Absolutely. I tell you, go ahead, sis. No, go ahead. I apologize. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's just 100 days to Election Day.
From today.
So
that's right.
You know, we still have time to get people registered to vote. And if you're not registered to vote, I'm telling you, there are so many places that you can go. You can go to the county election board, and you can get registered. There are several organizations that are having registration drives, and it's all over social media. This is the time to act right now. I mean,
this is not a drill.
Is at stake.
Break
this is not a
glass.
Drill.
Break the glass. Break the glass. Yeah. Yes,
if you
right.
think it doesn't affect you, it affects you in so many ways. You know, they're going to be eliminating health care, withdrawing the abortion pill, mifepristone from the market, stopping these drugs being mailed, eliminating mandated insurance coverage for the week after pill, prohibiting funding for patients traveling across state lines for reproductive health care. This is for the women. Prohibited funding for health care centers that provide abortions. Also, the Department of Health and Human Services should maintain a biblically based social science reinforced definition of marriage and family. What does that mean? LGBTQ people, they're going to, if you're already married, you will no longer be recognized as being married.
What does that mean? Okay. I'm sorry. For insurance's purposes and different things like that, that would be an issue.
Yeah.
I was like, well, what would that really matter? But okay,
Right. They get insurance coverage, on health. Yeah, that's all going to disappear. They're cutting federal money for research and investment in renewable energy, instead calling for the next president to stop the war on oil and natural gas. So they're going to start fracking again. our lakes, our rivers, our oceans are going to be filled with
contamination.
All type of contamination. I mean, they're already filled with contamination now, but now it's just going to be like no holds barred. Yeah, dump it in there. We don't.
You won't
care.
That's right. You won't be able to eat any of the fish. You won't be able to do anything going forward because it'll definitely be contaminated. And supposedly they don't do that right now, and you have all kind of stuff popping up, deformed fish and the eye on the tail and the tail on the face and all kind of stuff. So, you know, it's happening right now. If they roll back that plus civil rights, voting rights.
Voting rights. They're recommending cutting and restricting the use of food stamps and social welfare programs, creating more eligibility requirements for Medicaid, creating two-rate individual tax systems of 15 and 30%, reducing the corporate income tax rate, cutting rates for high-income investors, and canceling federal student loan forgiveness programs. Housing. They're going to reverse several Biden administrative policies, including Housing Supply Fund, which states that it provides funding and low-income housing tax credits to address market gaps, increasing housing supply, and help to stabilize housing prices over the long term, and remove barriers to affordable housing development. Yeah.
Wow.
And that's just part of it, you know. Diversity. There will be no diversity projects. They're gonna every federal rule, agency regulation, contract, grant regulation, and piece of legislation that exists, including sexual orientation, gender equality, gender awareness, gender sensitive, abortion, reproductive health, reproductive rights, diversity, equality, inclusion, and more. And of course, you know, immigration. They are talking about deporting all kinds of people. If you're married, your partner is from out of the country, yeah, they can deport them.
Logistically,
break up your family.
That is going to be an absolute nightmare. Who's going to enforce that? Are they going to have local police driving around just rounding folks up? What will be the mechanism in place to enforce that? It's almost logistically impossible.
Yeah, it's like, what are your papers? Like, what? You remember when they used to do that in slavery? They used to ask you, where are your papers at?
Right.
Who do you belong to?
But, you know, we're talking
papers.
We're talking about this like the people who are behind this are not diabolical enough to put this in place. They'll find a way. Stephen Miller and his ilk, they'll find a way to make this happen because, of course, they were behind all of the savage caging of kids and the separating of families in the last administration when they were on. So I think even though it sounds logistically impossible, they'll try.
Yeah, we'll try.
They'll try.
Well, you know,
and they did that.
As we talk about this, I mean, it's as we really just sit here and discuss this,
it doesn't even seem real.
It doesn't. It's dystopian. It's unbelievable. You know, and again, it gets back to who thinks like that. What type of person really thinks about what can I do to make life miserable for someone else? It's these people. They're mean, they're dispirited, they're angry, and it's all about, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, it's all about them not liking the way the country looks. They don't like people that look like us.
That's right.
You know, and they want to do everything they can to hurt us.
Oh,
you know,
you
have one.
I'm just going to say, it recommends that pornography be outlawed and criminalized.
Now, damn it, I'm drawing the line right there. This has gone too far. This has gone too far. Now it's time for me to step up. You know, this has gone far enough. I mean, stop it right that gum now. I mean, cut it out. Oh my goodness!
Okay, so I mean, you know, you can't go messing around with porn. Once you start messing around with porn, then you really get into an area where we're really just going to have to put on the gloves and just start boxing.
That's right.
I mean,
that's right.
Was there a time where it was illegal?
It was, and
it was.
Well, they've been on a crusade. They've been on a crusade for quite some time to criminalize what's happening in your bedroom. They've been on that for quite. Also, guys, one of the aspects of Project 2025 too, JD Vance is talking about if you are a resident of a state and you leave that state to go have an abortion or some birth control mechanism in another state, they're going to use the levers of the federal government to come after you and prosecute you. What in the man? This is deep. This is serious.
No more.
This is serious. This is really serious. I don't know.
The only thing that, I'm sorry, Carl. Go right ahead. I was just gonna say.
No, I don't know. I don't know how we can. I don't know how as a country that we can survive this. We can't have people walking around in fear with any rights. I mean, what will be the reason that you'd want to stay in a country like this after the implementation of something like that? The country would fall apart.
The other thing that just blows my mind is these average people that are walking around listening to this bull crap, that they think it's not going to impact them, they fall into these categories.
Right.
I mean, it's just mind-blowing.
It is. So, guys, before we wrap up, I'd like to chop it up a little bit about the cultish icons of one Beyonce and Taylor Swift. They've banded together to help put Vice President Harris in office. What's your perspective about that?
Cultish.
Well, no, they do. They have their followings. Those people's followings are cult like. If you go against them in any way, the beehive will stang that behind. Say something about Beyonce on the internet and see what happened to you. Man, I was like,
come in
oh wow. That's right, quickly. That's right. They will come quickly. And also too, the Swift crew, the Swifties, they are no joke, but they have come together for the right reason. They're going to do the best they can to put their sister in office. First of all, sis, what's your perspective about that? I think it's great.
I think it's amazing. I mean, Taylor Swift was very part of getting President Biden reelected. She went out and she campaigned for him, and she told all her Swifties, this is the guy you vote for. And they did. And so, she has a market that young people, and that's what we want, young people, because a lot of everything in Project 2025, it affects them adversely, from education to sexual orientation to your women's health rights. So I believe they have such massive followings that they can get so many voters in there, and I think it's a great thing. It's absolutely wonderful. Thank you.
I know. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Darnell, man, what's your perspective about that? Because those are two heavy hitters, man. Two of the biggest in the game. Regardless, male, female, Beyonce and Taylor Swift are at the pinnacle of the music industry right now.
Yeah, I just believe that those people are, how do I want to describe it? I want to use the word influenced. They basically are, though, influenced by those two. And I think that I'm sure there's Republicans who like Taylor Swift and Beyonce. But I believe that, again, this movement, this atmosphere allows for people like them to have more influence, and I think the following will translate into many, many votes for Kamala. I just believe there's a moment, folks. And you keep hearing as you watch, MSNBC or CNN, you just keep hearing these pundits say that you keep using the term Barack-like, Obama-like, right?
Yeah.
And I just think that we're in a moment, and I don't think that there's anything that's going to slow this train down. And when you have influential celebrities like Taylor Swift and Beyonce throwing their hat in the ring, it can't help but do good. I just think it's another feather in Kamala's cap.
Sis, Darnell, I think it's over. I do. I believe they will not be able to put the top back on this bottle. I believe it is a wrap. I believe the momentum is so strong. I think it's over. I really do. I don't think that they have a chance. I think they're going to get bombed. I do. I believe it. It may not be as big a victory as 7 million, but it's going to be large, very, very large.
Very large, very, very large, the largest ever in history.
That's absolutely.
He's going to lose bigly.
Bigly. That's right.
He's going to lose bigly.
You're going to get so tired of losing. I'm telling you, we're going to lose and lose and lose. You're going to get so tired of losing. You're going to say, I can't take anymore. I want to lose some more. Yeah, boy, I
Nobody's
tell you.
ever lost the most.
That's how we do it. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been in the midst of the biggest, baddest, most powerful name in talk. We are the Open Mic Talk Show. Cara Black, Darnell Swift, I'm Carl L. King II. We hope you have a good week, and we bid you goodbye.
Oh,
Bye.
Keep it locked in. This is O City FM HD. We are the people you know, the music you love. Real radio is back. Stay locked in. More great music on the way.